Jesus said that's one thing. You have to understand Jesus is a very, very discerning man. He's operating with a gift of discernment in his life. And this man comes and this man says, I keep all of the commandments. I don't commit adultery. I honor my mother and my father. I don't steal. I don't kill. I mean, he's Mr. Goody Two-Shoes. Jesus read through all of that. You know, let me just tell you, when people seem too perfect, and you can't find anything wrong with them, Jesus went right to the heart of the issue. And the whole issue here was that maybe you don't have a problem with those commandments, but your problem is that instead of your possessing stuff, stuff has possessed you. Get rid of what's possessing you, and you'll have a place in heaven. That's all Jesus was telling him. Because I want you to understand, and then he went on to talk about how it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter into heaven. I didn't understand what that was, until I went to Jerusalem. I was in Jerusalem, let's see, it was 34 years ago. And in Jerusalem 34 years ago, I mean, I've been several times and more recent than 34 years ago. But when I was there 34 years ago, I'm at one of the great walls, the gates of the city. Because in my consciousness and understanding, an eye of a needle is this thing that that you have to put on special glasses to see how to thread. It's so tiny because in our understanding, that's the eye of the needle, and you try to take this tiny piece of thread and put it through that little opening there. And but that's not what it was talking about at all. Remember, the Bible is an Eastern book that we're reading with a Western mind. And so it was not until I was in the East 34 years ago. And I'm at the gate in Jerusalem. And the gate is probably, I don't know, it was maybe 20 feet tall at least. And then I noticed a smaller door inside of the big door. And I asked the tour guide, what's this door? He said, that door is called the eye of the needle. And he said, at nighttime, when the main big doors to the city, the 12 gates, doors to the city of Jerusalem are closed for security purposes. And if somebody happens to come back to try to enter the city after dark, he says, we don't open the big gate. We only open the eye of the needle. The eye of the needle was a door that was maybe 6 feet tall. But a camel is still a big, huge animal. And he would have to unload the stuff off of his back, get down on his knees, and then walk through the smaller door called the eye of the needle. So it's very possible for a camel to enter in through the eye of the needle if he unloads the stuff on his back. And so he was saying that there are certain things, because when that Bible says, naked came I into the world, Job said that, and naked am I going to go out, and he said, blessed be the name of the Lord. So you have to realize that he's talking here about his getting rid of things that were possessing him. It's fine to possess things, but don't ever let things possess you. And if he had not had an inordinate affection for these things, I don't believe that Jesus ever would have told him to sell everything that he had and give it to the poor. But he knew that this was going to be an impossibility for this man, because this man had an inordinate affection upon those things, and it blocked him from being able to follow Jesus. And so he had to put his head down, because he put things before his relationship to be able to follow Jesus. So again, I ask you the question, what's hindering you? Is it any stuff? Sometimes it may not be the stuff that you have. It may be the stuff that you're trying to get. You can't do the will of God because you're trying to get stuff. Trying to get stuff. Busy pursuing the wrong kind of stuff for the wrong reasons. And he's saying to him, what excuse are you giving me for coming to this feast, this place where the food is to do the will of God. That's the real issue. That's the real issue.